怒气没有地方发泄吗 ？Angry Room， 欢迎回到温顺生活的event，密室工作人员。这个房间是你设计的，
这个是。
你平常有多少委屈，多少怒火？怎么会想到要有一个 Angry Room 啊？
有压力啊。
所以你觉得你有这个需要？这个大众就会有这个需要，是不是？就是让大家来发泄的。
对啊。
所以这个房间应该很活跃吧？现代人压力很大，你知道吗？我猜一下，来这边发泄的应该都是男生比较多吧？我觉得男生好像比较需要
怒气没地方去之类，对。
其实女生比较多。
什么？
对，大概是80%的都是。
哦，好，我们看完了这个 room， 应该不需要什么游戏设计师来设计吧？
这个应该不需要。
好。
那真正游戏设计师，我们大家可以见一下吗？
然后我们现在就带你去介绍一个我们的游戏设计。
好。
游戏设计师 Jonathan， 我们要来问一下 Jonathan， 到底是怎么设计出这么好玩、这么有趣又这么困难的游戏 ？Hi Jonathan。
Hello.
Hi. So first thing first, how long does it usually take for you to design a game, and how many of you to work on a game?
So I mostly design most of it by myself, and it takes somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks, I would say.
So like every question is
designed by you.
Yeah, so I would mostly start with the just general layout of the entire theme, and then I go through and add in all each of the steps into the room, including all the gadgetry, how to wow players,
So where do you get your inspirations from?
Oh, I have been an avid gamer, avid fan of media, all that. So I like to think about those kind of concepts. Think about when I experienced it, what wowed me, and I want to bring that feeling to the players themselves as well.
I will say you are a very smart person to design this.
No.
Have you go test your IQ? Is it 200?
So when you were to design a game, do you actually have an idea, the ideal group of people?
I mostly designed for minimum 2 people, just so that we can add in a little bit element of cooperation. Obviously, everyone comes to an escape room because they want to hang out with friends. They want to have a good time.
And then have you go try other
games that designed by other people?
Oh, of course, yeah. I love playing escape rooms. But of course, being an escape room designer myself, it sometimes gets a little easy because I can see some of the patterns that they use, and those are the kind of thought process I would use in order to design a game as well.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah.
And next up, we're going to interview the gadget engineer.
就是机关设计师。刚刚访问了游戏设计师，接下来呢就是机关的设计师了。Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Can you show us a few things here?
Yeah, sure thing. So this room is our Joker The Last Laugh theme. One thing that's really neat about this room is all of the gadgets are actually integrated into one electronic system. So what's really neat about that is all the sound is integrated throughout the room. The idea is that as the players progress through the steps, the Joker will be taunting them and kind of making jokes throughout the theme that are all based on what actions the players are taking in the room as they're progressing through the theme. Do you want to spin it?
Sure.
Welcome, Batty, to the greatest show Gotham has ever seen.
Is it your sound?
Very talented. Right, so it's just interesting. So if people were do different things in different order, we're gonna have different effects.
Exactly. So the idea is that as you complete each step, you're going to be hearing from the Joker. So if we head over into the third room, maybe we can have a look at some of those.
Yeah. Cool.
And certain groups might try to unplug this. So if you wanted to give it a shot, you'll see one of the audio effects that's in the room here that doesn't have any effect.
Oh, my bomb! You shut it down. How are you so smart? Good at your detectiving. Man, I shouldn't have ever tried to outsmart you. No, sirree.
We like to think of the Joker as someone who kind of plays around with Batman, so he wouldn't necessarily make everything to be a full functional element inside.
Right.
So there's a couple Easter eggs hidden throughout that would kind of give you a little bit more feeling that you're being played with, even though they're not necessarily related to your path to escaping. So we're going to head downstairs for that one actually. So how that one works is it's a gadget where you get this orb, and as you tap the different steps, it'll make a sound effect, and if you tap the correct order, it'll unlock. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect one of the sensors, and what you're going to find is that it's going to stop making sound on that sensor. So we're going to go through the troubleshooting process where we'll figure out which sensor is broken, and then we'll unscrew it and reconnect or replace the sensor. Basically, is the idea of what we'll do there. So there's two different things. So most sensors have like a life cycle on them, which is probably like a couple of years. Right. So if the sensor life cycle finishes, then you'll need to replace it, which usually you can notice, as you're maintaining.
好的，我们总结刚刚啊，
真的还蛮妙的，因为他们要设计，然后如果坏掉了怎么办？那有坏掉，平常维修的时候也要去处理，然后如果玩到一半坏掉怎么办？所以还蛮多不同小细节要注意的。
对，那我们就赶快跟着 Chris 去体验一下，他们维修师到底都在干嘛呢？我们要去维修什么东西呢？
Okay, so basically right now what we've got one of the gadgets inside of this room is malfunctioning. So what we want to do is first we want to test all the sensors in the room. So for that we've got the magnet on this gadget here. So if you want, we've got 4 plaques around the room. Maybe we can try testing them out. They should make a sound, so if you can find the one that is not connected, then that'll be our first step here.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a sound. Yeah. So that works. Ooh, working. Oh, that works. Not working.
So the first thing we want to do is we're going to want to open this up and see if we can find any wire connections that have an issue inside, and then after that we can see what we're going to do next.
Okay. Oh. Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Great. So what you can do is you can kind of pull that wire out. We'll see if there's anything that's come loose. Will be our first step here. So what we can see now then is that probably this sensor has failed. That does happen, after a couple years of use. Sometimes these sensors they'll fuse together. So what we can do is you can try to get that sensor out of the front here, and then we'll install the new one.
Do we press on? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Then now you can try to remove the black sensor from the
whole thing or just this
the
one?
wood piece. Yep. You can actually remove this whole thing. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
是在吃大闸蟹还是吃龙虾？
我就会夹碎耶。
它已经断了。
哦，这个，所以这个就是 sensor 本身哈。
对啊。
So essentially now that we've got the bad sensor out, we're ready to install the new sensor. So this one is new. So what we can do first, before we install it, we can plug it back in and make sure that this sensor is functioning properly.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead and plug that in and use the magnet to test if you can get the sound effect.
Oh, okay.
So now we can unplug it just to make it a little bit easier to install into the front here.
说真的呀，他们为了玩家的使用感要好，真的非常细心嘞。那个机关那么多，感应器那么多，要做的维修好多哦。你看到那个假睫毛的胶吗？
我们刚去参观了好多房间，真的每一个房间的布置啊，都非常非常用心。对，而且看到你就是想玩。
有那个刚刚那种售票口啊、飞机啊，都是就是整个布景很像真实的状态。
对，那个 Joker 那个就觉得好好玩
啊，还有铁轨啊什么的，对不对？对。
We'll connect this back.
Push all the wires in. 反方向卡哦。等一下。哦，好大，好大力！
甜。
好。耶，我修好了。
看就是我有做过的。
啊！要是没有好了，又尴尬了，吓一跳。你也修好了，我们也会修了。
如果今天要请 Jimmy 和 Jessica 其中一位做员工，你会觉得哪一位比较好？
我可以搬很重的东西。
笨了。
他比较会用那个机器，但我会搬很重的东西哦。
其实如果不用钱
这个的话，
然后先试用1个月再决定。
哦，试用1个月再换下一个，再试用1个月。聪明的老板，聪明。一日密室工作人员成功。
那这个票给你们，看你们能不能用今天所学习的知识来顺利通关。
我不想再玩了，
还要再玩
了，好累哦。今天我们来体验了密室工作人员的一天。我觉得如果没有玩过的朋友，如果要来玩、要体验的话，建议要首先合作，
找一群
冷静的人，
高矮胖瘦，
反正就是多才多艺啦。我觉得来这边也是可以训练一下才艺的。
其实最重要的就是来 跟朋友一起，然后开心最重要。那今天也要谢谢我们的赞助商 Mercedes-Benz Richmond GLC 300，
还有我们的衣服服装赞助
可爱的衣服 Fortress。那我们温顺生活下一集见，拜拜。